So today I wanted to talk about raising the independent child. So the other day I got a comment about Naira and how I was going to have a difficult time with her when I'm older because she's so independent right now. And the thing is, I've heard that before. I've heard it said before, and I remember even as a child people saying that to my mom. And I believe my mom has said that to me before about, oh, you're going to have trouble with Naira when she's older. And I can't predict the future. She might be a crazy teenager. Who knows what's going to happen. But what I do want to talk about is the fact that raising an independent child is not a bad thing. And it's not something that we should look down upon or look at with fear. It's something that we should really embrace as their parents. So I looked up the exact definition of independent, and I wanted to kind of go off of this. So according to Google, independent, not influenced or controlled by others in matters of opinion and conduct, thinking or acting for oneself. That is something that I think all of us as parents strive to teach our children. And I think it is something as adults that we strive to become. But we face a lot of difficulties in truly becoming independent. People succumb to peer pressure, even as adults. It's a thing that happens. And I think it's because we have such a backwards way of teaching children how to be people. We can't really blame our parents. Our parents are learning how to be people too. So they're on their own journey trying to figure out how to be a human being. So, they can't teach us everything. So we learn how to become independent on our own. And as we learn how to become independent on our own, we teach our children that, and we don't fear it. We embrace their independence. So I want my child, Naira, to question authority. I want her to question the ideals that are set before her by society. I want her to question everything, even myself. I tell her all the time that I don't have all the answers and that she should always question everybody, including me, her mom, and her dad. I think why people fear the independent teen is because they are defiant. It is the age when we are becoming young adults and we are trying to find our own self, our own power. And so we start questioning more, especially our parents and the rules that they set before us. Typically, parents don't tell you why they do things, they just do them and expect you to follow. I do not want to teach Naira to do that. Anytime I ask her to do something, I give her the full reason why. And I am the example. I have to do whatever I am teaching her to do. Now, there are some instances where it is important for a parent to interject and stop the defiance, and that's only whenever a child is going to harm themselves. So, for example, if Naira and I are walking and we're going to cross the street and I tell her to not cross the street, I don't have time to explain sometimes that there's a car coming, okay? So, of course, I've had this conversation with her many times so she knows why I ask her not to cross the street without me. There's some background work that needs to be done before you just tell children what to do. But there are some instances where I can understand that you have to protect your child. So you step in and you get them to make sure that they listen so they don't hurt themselves, okay? But then you need to talk to them and tell them why, okay? If you can't come up with a good reason why your child should do something, then you're probably just making up rules that are irrelevant and just suit your needs. And I think that's selfish parenting. So, anyways, interject for a child whenever they're going to hurt themselves. If they're not hurting themselves and they are just defying you, then that's when you need to have a conversation with them. And if it's something that is important to you, you will figure out a way to be the example of that, and you will figure out a way to explain why you need them to do whatever you're asking them to do. Otherwise, your argument is going to fall short and they're going to see right through it. Okay? So, I think it's important that we acknowledge their defiance as a positive thing, and we let them know that that we appreciate the fact that they are standing up for what they believe in to their ultimate authority in their life, because in this moment, as their parents, we are the ultimate authority. And it's scary to stand up to ultimate authority. Who's the ultimate authority in your life right now? Is it your boss? Is it your probation officer? Who is it? Who's your ultimate authority? It's scary to stand up to them. So give credit to those children for standing up to somebody who is much more powerful than them and who controls a lot of things in their life. I think that it's important that we acknowledge that. And I think it's important that we learn how to teach children to be strong and fearless, to be able to stand up for whatever they believe in without fear. And we have to do that. We have to encourage that. We can't shut it down and put it in a box and lock it away because it's inconvenient for us. No, we have to nurture that. Now, along with all of this, it is very important that you teach your children how to communicate in a respectful manner, because if you don't, they will lash out and they will speak to you disrespectfully. But you have to take the time to speak to them in a respectful way right now as they're young children, and all the way up until, forever, they're adults. You have to be that example of how you communicate to somebody at all times. If you speak to them disrespectfully, they will learn that from you, and they will give it back to you as a teenager or whenever. So teach them that, ground them in communication, how to speak to people, how to love people, and then acknowledge their defiance and talk to them. Okay? So, that's all I wanted to say. I think it's very important that we raise independent children so they can become truly independent adults, independent from all forms of slavery, especially mental slavery. So, thank you.